This is chapter 5, exponents. The product rule. This rule says that if I have a product of same base, different exponents, then I keep the base and I add the exponents. So for an example, I have r to the 9th times r to the 6th. I have a product, same base r, different exponents, and so I just add the 9 and the 6. And so 9 plus 6 is 15. Therefore, I got r to the 15. Next, the power rule. For any base x raised to the power of m and the power of n, then I multiply those powers. So for example, I have x to the 9th. So x raised to the power of 9 and raised to the power of 6. And so I multiply the power together. So 9 times 6 is 54. And so x is actually x to the negative, x to the 54, because 9 times 6 is 54. Okay, next, quotient rule. Just like the product rule, if I divide it like this, same base, different exponents, then I subtract the exponents. Because we have a division, then I don't want x to be 0. So for example, x to the 16 divided by x to the 6, same base, x, different exponents, then I subtract the exponents. And so 16 minus 6 is 10. Therefore, x to the 10th is the answer. What about this example? I have 18 x to the 9th, y to the 4th divided by 3 x to the 7th, y. Now think of y to the 1 like this. I look for the same base. And so I have the x's and the y. And so there we go. 18 divided by 3 is 6. For the x's, 9 minus 7 is 2. For the y, 4 minus 1 is 3. And so we got the x squared times 6 times y to the 3rd. Next rule, the zero exponents rule. For any non-zero base x that raised to the power of 0 is always 1. Okay, so for example, 9 to the 0 power is 1 because 9 is not 0. 9 is the base and it is not 0, and so it is 1. 9 to the 0 power is 1. Next, the negative exponent rule. So think of this as over 1, okay? The negative exponent tells us to flip the x. And so the 1 now goes to the top, the x now go to the bottom. But once you flipped, then you no longer has the negative exponents, you now has the positive exponents. Now, because this is a division, we don't want our x to be 0. So for example, I have x to the negative 7, just flip, and so 1 over x to the positive 7. Again, think of over 1, then you flipped. Okay? What about this example? I look for the base. So I have A, B, C, D. There, there are different letters, so there are different base. But I noticed that the A and the D has the negative exponents, and so I just flip the two. Okay. So you can see that the A now goes to the bottom, from the top to the bottom with the positive exponent. The D is now from the bottom goes to the top, so D to the positive exponent, 7. The B and the C stay the same because they both have the positive exponents. Now let's kind of put them together. So for this problem, again, same base, x, different exponents. 7 times 4 is 21, actually 28. And so 28x to the 28x to the power of 7 plus 12, which is 19. Now this one, notice that they have the exponent 4, the exponent 3, the 5 is also the exponents. X and Y are different letters, so they are not the same. So we don't have the same base. And so I just multiply 3 times 4 using the power rule for the x and also for the y. And so 5 times 3. And now we have x to the 12 over y to the 15. Next, m to the 13 times m to the negative 19. Again, I have a product. I have the same base m, different exponents, and so I have to add them. And so 13 plus negative 19. Okay, so 13 plus negative 19, which is a negative 6. So m to the negative 6. Now I don't want a negative exponent, and so I have to flip this. So it's then 1 over m to the 6. Next, I have a division, once again, same base, then I have to subtract the exponents. And so negative 20 minus negative 9. Negative 20 minus negative 9 becomes a plus 9. And so negative 21, actually negative 20 plus 9, which is negative 11. Negative 20 negative 9. So these two now become a positive, and so negative 20 plus 9. And that's why we have the negative 11. Okay. So you have to be careful with the negative. Again, I don't want the negative exponents, and so I have to flip, and the answer is then 1 over x to the 11. Next example. Again, for this one, I have the exponent 3, negative 4, negative 7. These are all exponents, and a and b are different letters, and so we have different base. So we just multiply them. So 3 times negative 4 and 3 times negative 7. And so we have a to the negative 12 over a to the negative 21. Once again, I don't want a negative exponents, and so I have to flip. So the a is now go to the bottom, b is now go to the top, and so the answer is then b to the 21 over a to the 12. Last but not least, I have 7x to 0. Now think of x to 0 times 7. Okay. And so x to 0 power is 1. So 1 times 7 is 7. And that's the answer.